It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy with a quick question. Have you downloaded the Black Primacy app yet? If you haven't, don't worry about it. I just wanted to remind you that it is the number one way to find Black-owned businesses near you. Whether you're looking for food, fashion, or services, we've got you covered on this app. So download it now and start supporting Black-owned businesses in your area today. All right? Link in the description.
The median African American family income annually is $41,500. However, the annual African American spending,
what we all spend together,
what we all collectively spend together, is 1.35 trillion now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do we convert income to generational wealth? Because whether we hustle to get it,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Whether we gamble to get it,
yeah,
whether we rob to get it,
yeah,
whatever we do to get it, whether we work to get it, whatever we do to get it, it hits our hands.
Yeah.
But when it hits our hands, what we decide to do with it, that discipline that must be instilled, taught, and practiced.
Yeah.
That's what's like. How do we instill, teach, and motivate our young people and ourselves? Because I need more discipline too. You know what I'm saying? But how do we do that so we can, have more generational wealth among us?
So I've seen it argued. I think the name of the book is "The Myth and Propaganda of Black Buying Power." There are two sides of the argument now. So on one side, you have very leftist of what people describe liberal as typically very conscious and pro-black in perception. And they're saying that the numbers you just stated is a mythology, that the 1.2 trillion won't save black people from the position they're in. And so there's an argument.
Let's explain that. I want to hear what their position is.
What they're saying is that you're spending your dollar, but it doesn't matter because the dollar is escaping the community. Now, on the other side, you have conservatives like Walter E. Williams, who's a natural economist. You have Thomas Sowell on the other side that are saying, no, your dollar matters in this economy. And capitalism is the best system for you, although not perfect. It allows you to provide goods and services. And for those goods and services, in return, you get the opportunity to gain capital to pass on wealth and to employ others. You keep it going. Now, the truth, to me, is somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Right?
It usually is.
Buying shit alone will not save the African-American community.
Right.
But until you get to a means where you produce the raw materials that do shit, a good median is to at least own the stores.
Okay.
So when I sneaker shop, if I have to afterbuy, I tend to buy, instead of pivoting toward even a StockX, who are the black dealers or black stores that I could buy from?
Right.
Because I know if I support that, I'm supporting that store, which supports that owner, which supports 5 and 10 employees, which puts more dollars. And then those kids go down to Peter and Walker Street. They spend that at Escobar. They spend it at Bankhead Seafood. Mm-hmm. Now that dollar's moved 3 times.
That's right.
In our community. It's helped to employ 3 different sets of people.
Okay.
It's moved that. Much like Greenwood, the place in Tulsa was a self-sufficient town in the middle of a white racist city because that dollar had to turn 36 times a month. Although the black customer dollar leaving your community will not save you, I would have to argue the black consumer dollar staying in helps your community and the greater community, so much to the point that when I interviewed and told that to the Bloomberg magazine, said that, focus buying, if our economy does better, the greater community does better, the head of the feds in Atlanta agrees with that. So when people tell me that the black buying power is a mythology, I'll nod and I'll say, okay, but what isn't a mythology is if you sharpen the tip of your spear.
Right.
If we're spending money like here, it doesn't work. But the minute your spear does this, and it says, I'm only going to move my money here.
Right.
And when that happens, what you start to see is a transition. Well, what's the transition you see? The day after we did that, we said, well, what's going to happen next? We don't know. More black people got accounts. They were flooded with accounts, had to hire new employees at the banks. But about 30 days later, Wells Fargo came up with $60 million for black mortgages. They didn't do that for black and brown. They didn't do that for disenfranchised or poor. They did it for black mortgages. And they specifically said black at a time where they weren't. You get what I'm saying? Right. So for me, when people argue the mythologies, or they argue, and it's not me trying to argue with that professor, but again, This professor,
Well, I mean,
the argument on the other side is given by an economist.
Sure.
Walter T. Williams is an economist.
Right.
And he's saying...
He studies this.
Yeah, that's all he
spent his life studying
Yeah,
this.
he said, Negro, take your money. Take care of yourself first, partner with others in your communities, and use that community's money as a focus to grow.
Cause I pull up, they be out there by the Trap Music Museum, right on, North Side and Bankhead doing their thing. And I pad back and forth so much, they know my car.
Me too.
So they'll see me and they'll chase down my car and leave a post and run after me all the way down to the museum and say, come on, man, Tip, here we go, man. Hey, look, don't motherfucker run up on me. Stop hustling and come to me like I'm finna save you.
Every day, yeah.
Don't you do that.
I shot with you once.
Ain't no one goddamn car finna save your entire day.
Consistency.
You dig what I'm saying? You had the right idea. You supposed to be out there hustling. Now, how much money have you possibly missed running after me?
Absolutely.
Now, get your ass on back up there. Get back to hustling. Don't come back here like I'm goddamn the savior.
Absolutely.
And don't look for no man to save you.
Absolutely.
Ain't no one man finna come here
now
and
somebody,
save your ass.
Somebody gonna see this and be like, oh, Tip is a man. I thought he was woke and he was helping the kids, but that's how we learn business. Like I tell my barbers all the time, like I learned business selling cocaine.
That's real.
And I knew I was too smart to be selling cocaine. So that's
didn't.
Yeah, see, I did though. And that comes with a certain type of anxiety because my thing was, I'm going to die out here. Like, I'm going to fuck around and be the guy who wasn't supposed to die that died here, So I had to take everything. And when all my partners was buying, I ran with some Decatur dudes too.
Right.
Man, when they were buying them Monte Carlos, putting them a cleanse on them, it's just like nothing more in the world I wanted. But I had a choice. I could buy this MPC, this ASR,
right,
or I could buy these wheels. And I started making the decisions that I thought. I remember I bought my first Submariner at 19. I caught it for like $6,400 at a pawn shop.
Goodness.
And bought it and had to take it back because I got fucked up and had to re-up.
Damn.
And I paid $64. I think the pawn dude gave me $6 for it back.
What?
So I still ended up losing $400. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But I was like, man, I learned then don't go before you ready. I learned
real.
those lessons. So when I remember opening up our first shop, having to wait to build it. I remember you coming down showing love.
Slow and consistency.
Exactly. And that's what I tell the little
slow,
homies
consistent grind
with
is
the water.
key.
Exactly. I'm not gonna buy water every time, but clean up around your space.
Yeah.
Don't have it looking like a trap, so the
Right.
police won't bother you. Push the Kroger thing back at the end of it.
Right.
So all those things I kind of brought out. So I really get offended a lot of times when people try to act as though the advice that you give in particular is not worthy because you survived and thrived in the
all
streets.
of it. Absolutely, it take all of it. It takes a full village.
Yeah, absolutely.
It take a full village. And me, myself, personally, what I can't do is enable mediocrity.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? One of the worst things that I hate more than anything, man, for a young man, little boy to run up on me and hold their hand out
Ask
and
for
say,
something.
Tip, give me some money.
Yeah,
Tip,
man.
give me some.
Yeah,
Help
man.
me. And like just beat straight up and down, I tell them, listen, don't run up to no man asking them for no money because you ain't gonna you
They
don't
might
know
ask you
what
for
he
something back.
you don't know what he want back
Absolutely.
in return.
Absolutely.
And if money's all it take to have you, you will get got.
Absolutely.
You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because somebody gonna give you exactly what it take for you to do exactly what the fuck you don't need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Whatever that may
Absolutely.
be.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Motherfucker give you $100 bill till you get in the car, take you somewhere, you don't know what the fuck going on, you don't know where you going, what you doing,
Absolutely.
and then you end up in a compromising position.
Absolutely.
Don't put yourself in that vulnerable spot. Hustle for yours.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that water isn't wet if I've stood out in the rain before. You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
If I've been pushed in a pool before, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that water isn't wet. You know what I mean? And we've both seen the power of what the black dollar can do.
Absolutely.
We've both been a part of it. We've redirected funds.
Absolutely.
And matter of fact, it made us millionaires. You know,
Absolutely.
it changed the course of our lives.
Absolutely.
And you told me a story of how kids at the AU Center decided to not drink Coca-Cola and not fly Delta
during apartheid.
During apartheid,
Yeah.
and that brought about change in South Africa.
Yes, because Coke and Delta both being out of here, if you get African Americans protesting and not spending money here,
Right.
on Coke and Delta in particular,
Right.
everybody has to start listening.
That's right.
Yeah, if they
So
divest,
I think that pokes holes in his theory altogether. So I think we have.
Well, you
clear-
should have him on because I'm not here to dispute his theory as much to say there are nuances where it often gets explained to me as either or. That's a mythology. But we never talk about what Dr. Amos Wilson talked about, what Dr. John Henry Clark talked about. We never talked about what Johnson Products did, what Bronner Brothers did, being the owners of production.
Okay.
Right? You know, there was a time where black people didn't buy grease from white folk. You understand what I'm saying? Wasn't no Paul Mitchell sold in the community. Okay. You knew it was coming from Bronner Brothers. You knew it was coming from, and there was a pride in that. Look at the old Soul Train.
Yeah.
Who's the commercials?
Yeah, you're right.
So we have a lot. My grandfather.
Soul Glow.
My grandfather would say exactly.
You know, S-curl.
My grandfather would often say, man, he'd say the worst thing to happen to Negroes is integration. And I used to think
I heard that a lot.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? You light skinned with good health. You know what I'm saying? But what he was talking about was it took dollars. It robbed us of our dollars started escaping and they didn't come back. Yeah. So my grandfather saw a community that was once proudly black. Our gas station, Ms. Barbara owned the Exxon to the left of Douglas. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? My our home loan was from a black bank. He saw that world change, and when the dollar escaped, us becoming more powerless. So my only argument, not even versus Professor Ball, is, well, what is Dr. Walter E. Williams saying, the economist?
Right.
Because he studied capitalism. He's proven himself to be successful. And I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, right? Mm-hmm. But there has been, when there was nothing in our community, it was a young man named Fat Steve.
I know Fat Steve.
Who's a drug kingpin. I just wrote a letter for him and hoping that he gets let out, you know, on an early release because he's a nonviolent offender.
How much time did he get?
I think they gave him, it's
30 ball?
Yeah, I think, like 20, I think.
20?
But if you want to write a letter too, I'd love to.
Will. So
with Steve, Steve was the first person to sit me down and say, I own these amount of houses in this community.
Right.
And what, because we was always dreaming about getting out.
Right.
Oh, man, we go ball. We go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was the first person to help me see value in our community and help me understand the power of a dollar you can be 24 years old and fuck around and own 20 houses in a barbershop and things of that nature. So I'm just saying that our dollar, I believe, is powerful in a way. If organized, though.
It is.
If organized.
All dollars are powerful.
Absolutely.
Anytime. So we speak a lot about voting, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. And I know a lot of people feel like, you know, voting doesn't matter and they already got it in the bag and they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Yeah. Of course.
Voting matters, though.
We agree. We disagree with that emphatically because, you know, hey, man, I'm not saying that the government or the system is beyond treachery.
They are certainly.
I'm not saying they beyond treachery. Treachery is definitely within their DNA. However, what you learn to do, especially as a chess player, you learn to study your enemy. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And in studying the enemy, or now I won't say the enemy, in studying the opponent.
Yeah.
If you see them taking drastic measures to prevent you from moving a certain direction,
you might want to lean into that
direction. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm not trusting their altruism. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the moves that they make, and by process of elimination, saying, "Hey, if they want to keep me from doing this, maybe we should get to doing this." You dig what I'm saying? Because it could be effective. This shit could be exactly what they need us not to do in order for them to carry out their plan without fail. But every time you spend $1 on a product, you're voting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're voting for a corporation. If you go buy some Nikes, you just voted for Nike. If you buy some Yeezys, you voted for Adidas. And we've seen black people turn corporations into billion-dollar corporations turn individuals into billionaires.
Yeah, we made Nike.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we made Nike. We built that corporation. You know?
And when we built Nike, they built Jordan and so on and so forth. Absolutely. And now it's gotten to the point where now Jordan can pull in Drake or Travis Scott. See what I'm saying?
I mean, look at the brilliant brothers. Like Chris Paul is a brilliant brother who's a Jordan guy, right? Chris is the guy who's been wearing the HBCU, you know, early in the playoffs. Like, just brilliant. Right. Look at what $1 provided. You know, in terms of an athlete that's going back to a HBCU now. That's what I want black people to understand. You don't have to have a victimization relationship with money.
Right.
That's what Greenwood is really saying. You don't have to have a predatory relationship with money in which check cashing places are taking it, or the bank that you bank with has a 21% turn down rate with black people with home loans or car loans, or has an even smaller amount in terms of small business. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the opportunity to focus our dollars a weapon. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that.
Right.
He said even before you focus on politics, focus on that dollar.
Right.
You know, like, and I want to tell people in terms of the matters of importance of census and voting.
Okay.
I know who my great-grandparents are because I knew them. My
Right.
great-grandmother lived till I was 10. I physically knew them. Her mother, who had been born a slave, died a free woman. I knew the daughter of a slave, right?
Damn.
I know my great-grandfather's father, who was also a slave, because he showed up on a census. He was brought out of, his father or grandfather were brought out of, his grandfather, actually, I know, was brought out of South Carolina as a slave sale. So if it not for the U.S. Census, you know, I wouldn't be able to trace those roots back to Tuskegee, Alabama.
And that's something that you find a lot of importance in, the census.
I do.
And
it's going to
you've
get to
been
the
preaching it to me. You've been preaching it to me. I ain't felt now.
Give them the raw. This is me. This is how old I am. This is my wife and children. This is how old we are. This is where, and that's it.
Okay.
I don't give them any. That's I give them exactly what my granddaddy gave them.
Okay.
I'm Willie Burke Sherwood. I'm a Negro, a black, or whatever y'all calling y'allself this year. It's 3 children, 1 12, 1 8, 1 7. My wife is Betty, and that was it. That's all they got.
That slammed the door.
But came with his boxers on. You know what I mean? So he wasn't gonna stay. So, you know, with Burke, I learned, you know, he was almost probably libertarian in his views, minus, you know, the racism that Hannity displays on a nightly. But I'm glad I grew up into those radical ideologies, because my grandmother would have been into reading, you know, the mythology of black and propaganda of black buying power. My grandfather would have been watching Walter T. Williams on the VCR because he was functionally illiterate, because he had to work.
Damn.
He understood the power of a dollar. My grandpa Bunch and my grandpa Willie, both, they read, like I read to them, that was important, but they put money on the table and said, count this.
Right.
And it was important, and to the point where, you know, running around, you learn to count in your head.
That's right.
You know,
that's what I do to my kid. They can't believe, like, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of put numbers together in my head. Especially percentages.
Yeah, because it was before
they
the
say,
trap.
Man, 15% off, and it's $800.
Absolutely.
You dig what I'm saying?
And we have
to be able to come up with that.
Absolutely. And voting is important. Well, why, Michael? Because once you do your census, instead of saying it's 10 people in this block, it says it's 25.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out the other content that we have on this channel. But before you go, I wanted to remind you again not to forget to check out the Black Primacy app. It is the best way to connect with Black-owned businesses near you. They need your support. We need your support. Link in the description.